Life leaves scars on all of us. Some scars you can see, etched across the skin like silent witnesses to battles fought. Others remain hidden deep inside the heart, where no one can see, but you feel them every single day. These scars are not weaknesses. They are the story of survival, proof that even when the world tried to break you, you endured. But here's the truth most people never realize. Scars are not just about pain. They are about power. They remind us that we have lived, that we have learned, and that we carry within us a strength that cannot be stolen. Think of John Wick. The man carries his scars like a second skin. Some are visible. Burns, cuts, bruises from endless fights. Others are invisible. The grief of losing his wife, the rage of losing his last connection to love, the endless burden of violence. Every scar in his life became fuel, pushing him forward when most men would collapse. That's why when we watch John Wick, we don't just see an assassin, we see a mirror of ourselves. The part of us that carries pain but still refuses to stop moving. And this is where the first lesson begins. Your scars are not a prison, they are your armor. In life, we often try to hide what we've been through. We pretend the heartbreak didn't hurt us. We cover up the failures as if they never existed. We smile while inside we're breaking. But hiding scars is like hiding fire. You can suppress it for a while, but eventually it burns through. John Wick never hides his past. The world calls him Baba Yaga, the boogeyman, and instead of denying it, he owns it. His reputation, his scars, his losses, they define him, but they don't control him. That's the difference. Now let me ask you, how many scars do you carry that you're still ashamed of? Maybe it's the betrayal of someone you loved. Maybe it's the dream you chased but lost. Maybe it's the silence of nights where you couldn't even explain to anyone what was breaking you inside. But what if those scars are not there to shame you, but to shape you? What if every cut is not a wound, but a reminder? You survived something that could have destroyed you. This is the first truth. Scars mean survival, and survival means strength. But life is not just about scars. It's about balance. And balance is one of the hardest things to maintain in a world that constantly pulls us in different directions. Think of how many times you've been told to hustle harder, to grind more, to never stop working. And then in the same breath, you're told to relax, to slow down, to enjoy life. The world pulls you in opposite directions, and you stand in the middle like a rope in a tug of war. Balance seems impossible, but here's the hidden secret. Balance is not about doing less or doing more. It's about knowing when to fight and when to be still. Look at John Wick again. His life is a constant war between two worlds. The quiet man who just wanted peace, and the unstoppable assassin who knows nothing but chaos. He buries his weapons, trying to live a normal life, but when the time comes, he digs them up again. Why? Because balance is not about denying one side of yourself. It's about embracing both, but controlling when each one rises. In your own life, balance works the same way. There will be days when you need to fight, when you push harder at work, when you sacrifice sleep, when you take risks others fear. And there will be days when you need to breathe, when you rest, when you spend time with people you love, when you recover. Without both, you collapse. Too much hustle leads to burnout. Too much rest leads to regret. Balance is knowing when to be the warrior and when to be the monk. And perhaps the most underrated lesson of all, the power of silence. In our world today, everyone is shouting. Social media rewards noise. Opinions scream louder than truth. We feel the pressure to speak, to explain ourselves, to prove our worth in every room we enter. But silence is not weakness. Silence is power. John Wick rarely speaks. In fact, across all the films, his dialogue is minimal. But when he does speak, people listen. His silence is not emptiness, it's focus. While others waste their energy arguing, he saves his energy for action. That is why his presence commands respect without needing constant words. Now imagine if you could live the same way. Instead of rushing to defend yourself every time someone doubts you, you let your results speak. Instead of shouting to be heard in a crowd, you let your silence make others curious. Silence is not about saying nothing. It's about saying less so that what you do say carries weight. But silence is also about listening. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply. They hear words, but not meaning. That's why most relationships fail. Why friendships collapse. Why trust is broken. We communicate, but we don't connect. John Wick listens. He studies every detail, every movement, every intention. That's why he survives. In life, the same principle holds true. Listen more than you speak. Observe more than you react. You'll see truths others are blind to. And here's the paradox. Scars remind us of our battles. Balance keeps us standing, and silence teaches us control. Together, they form a philosophy for life. But the world will test you. It will push you to forget these lessons. Just like John Wick is constantly pulled back into violence, you too will be pulled back into chaos. Through toxic people, through crushing responsibilities, through the noise of a society that doesn't care about your peace. The question is, will you lose yourself or will you hold the line?